Guys, coming at you with another review. This time I'm going to be talking about Michael Connelly's novel, The Reversal. This is part of a loose series of novels that he's written about a lawyer named Mickey Haller. The first one being The Lincoln Lawyer, followed by The Brass Verdict, The Fifth Witness, then this one, The Reversal. I've read all of these up to this point, and I just finished The Reversal, so I'm just going to be talking about this book in this series. But as a quick little backstory, you don't need to read the books in any order to get what's going on. Characters that are in them are briefly reintroduced each time, and you could pretty much read any of them in any order and not miss anything. So getting to this one, The Reversal is about how Mickey Haller is usually a defense attorney. Well, in this one, he's persuaded by some big shots to be a prosecution attorney. So, because a convicted killer is being retrialed due to some new evidence coming to light, due to DNA, and so he's been persuaded at this point to step across the aisle and act as the state in this case. All kinds of evidence is given that this guy actually did what he's done. He's hired his friend, ally Detective Harry Bosch, who's the hero in another series Connelly's written, to be his lead investigator, and he's also teaming up with his ex-wife, DA attorney Maggie McPherson, to take this guy down. Meanwhile, the guy who has been let out, the killer, is acting awfully shady, and everyone is pretty much freaked out because this guy is pretty much free to roam all over LA wherever he wants to go. And Bosch is on his trail, seeing that he's going to some weird places and doing some weird things. So it's up to this core little group, guys, to make sure that he goes back to prison for good. And that's pretty much what it's about. There's not much more to the plot than that. There's some pretty crazy stuff that happens at the end of it, but I'm not going to spoil that, obviously. As a book, it's really good. I like, it's interesting, especially if you're familiar with the character, reading about how he has gone across the aisle, so to speak, and is now working for the state. That was the main appeal for this novel for me. I've read all the others, and I like all the others. They're all very interesting. They're all mysteries, because usually Mickey gets to a case that's more complicated than it seems. This one, it's more straightforward, and the intrigue lies more in, one, his ethical reasoning for doing this, and deciding to do what he normally doesn't do. And two, it's more suspenseful for straightforward reasons. Instead of it being more like, oh, this comes to light and this comes to light, it's more, this is just more suspenseful for what is going on the surface level. So it's a lot different in that respect, that it's not as convoluted and its twists and turns like the other novels in this loose series, but it's still interesting enough to hold your interest and keep you in suspense, because you don't know where it's gonna go. There's hints given that you could probably pick up on where it's going to go, but it's not straightforward enough, and especially at the very, very end of the novel, it takes a 180 and goes in a direction that you do not see coming. So that's fun too, getting to that point. But I highly recommend it. Michael Connelly is a fantastic writer, and he accurately displays both the legal side of things as well as the police procedural side of things in his novels. And he writes very compelling characters that are very realistic. He writes interesting stories, and he writes very suspenseful yarns. So if you like mystery, as well as like legal prosecution stuff, like courtroom stuff, or even if you just like detective stories, then he's a really good writer to turn to for that. He's one of my favorites in that field. And I definitely will be reading the next in this series, titled The Gods of Guilt. So that'll be the next Mickey Haller novel in this new series. I'm also still reading the Flavia de Luce novel, so I'll have another video of that up soon for the next one in the series. I plan on reading all of them and doing a video for each Flavia de Luce. So as soon as I finish the one I'm on now, I'll do a video for that. And I might even do some stuff in between. So anyways, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.